farm, family, community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning and welcome to Midwest Farm Weekly. I'm Elaine Wells and I am lucky enough to be at World Ag Expo in Tulare, California. George Pierce is joining me. He is the chairman of the show and a longtime member of the board. Good morning to you, George.
Good morning.
Well, for people who have not been lucky enough to experience this show, first of all, one heck of a show you guys put on here. Talk about World Ag. The title sort of says it all, but this is really a great show.
Yes, you know what really is very unique, or call it what you want, but in here at the World Ag Expo, we have a show that encompasses probably 350 plus crops. And if you go to a show in the Midwest, you're talking about soybeans, corn, and wheat. But here we talk about those crops, but we talk about almonds, walnuts, pistachios, peaches, plums, table grapes, raisins, lettuce, cauliflower, all of the many, many crops that we all have on our tables. It's raised right here. And at our show, we capitalize on that and we feature all of that.
George, talk about how this ended up in Tulare.
Well, it was started by the local dealers in 1968. They felt a need to get them all together in one spot so that customers could come and see it all in one spot. And so it grew from 1968 being basically a dealer show to now mainly the manufacturers put this show on. And those places like John Deere, like New Holland, Case, Kubota, they come from all over the world to this show and show their wares right here.
Must be fun for you to see families here. It was
yes.
neat for us to see the next generation being so excited about some of the innovations that are happening.
Exactly. That's what, for all the time that I've come out here, and I've only missed one show since 1968, but the reason I come out here is to look at the latest technology, and technology is really changing rapidly right now. It's very hard to find good help, so there's a lot of autonomous equipment being featured here today, a lot of robotics, drones being used to pick fruit. It's just amazing to watch the technology. Electrical tractors, methane-powered tractors. So, you know, it's just all that technology always gets me excited.
Gets me excited at lunchtime, too. You guys have some incredible food. Who runs those booths for you?
You know, they're all nonprofits. And so I can't remember the exact number. I know you can get that number, but we put out over $1 million to the nonprofits, and what's on the honor system, I think for them to have a space here, I think they pay us 15% of their gross, and we don't audit their books. It's all on the honor system.
Talk about why someone should make the trip if they haven't yet been.
You know, we have about, I think, 150 acres, including parking. We farm some ground here as well. The International Agri Center owns 700 acres, I believe. But anyway, the largest show, I think, I've traveled a lot, the largest show probably in the world, and it's all in one spot. You can see everything, the smallest tractor, 10, 15 horsepower, up to 700 to 1,000 horsepower, the largest combines to the smallest picking equipment for picking fruit and that kind of thing. So everything is here.
And a chance to see the ag that doesn't happen in your own backyard, which
exactly.
is what is so fascinating to us. So thank you for having us here and hosting such a wonderful event.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate seeing all the people from all over the United States and around the world.
Our featured farm family is a first-generation beef farm. The Poppy family is heading into a busy season as calving gets underway.
I've always known I wanted to be a farmer. I mean, this is all I've ever wanted to do. I've done other things after high school, but ag has always been where I want to go.
Well, actually, the beef idea was mine. Brian wanted to raise Holsteins and he wanted to milk, and I said no. I did grow up the road from my grandparents' farm, which is, this is what this is my grandparents' farm. So I was around animals and cows back then, but didn't really get serious until we got married.
The farm is now home to 200 steers and feeders, along with 38 cows, most of them pregnant.
I really like the cow-calf pairs. I love seeing the babies every year and watching them grow up. That's kind of my thing.
You'll see quite a mix of colors.
So we started out with probably just the generic or general Black Angus, and then we got into some Simmental breeds, and we did a lot of cross breeding with Simmental and Black Angus. But we do have a lot of variety. We have some Charolais, we have some Red Angus, we have a Short Horn, and we have one British White Park.
All of the cows virtually have names. I mean, we have 3 daughters that absolutely love cows, and you know, we genuinely care for them. You know, we know their personalities, and there's, you know, however many in that building, and we pretty much have an idea of what everyone likes to do.
For some animals, that means a diet of grass alone, while others get a mixture of grain.
Some people get hung up on the grass-fed. You know, grass-fed gets a bad rap at times because they say maybe it's too lean or too this or too that. For us, we really thrive on giving them the best products that we can in the front side, so their product is better on the meat side. So we really emphasize on certain cattle do well on grass-fed, certain cattle do not. You know, so the ones that do not, we bring those onto the conventional side so we could push them with a little bit more with grain. The other ones, they can handle it on the grass. So
the Poppies raise most of their own feed.
we run about 250 acres of corn and hay, and then most all of it goes into the animals. A lot of energy that takes to keep these guys warm because they're not in a barn, but they're out of the wind, so it takes more energy.
Customers enjoy knowing the short supply chain.
I think they just love that it's homegrown. Most of our customers are like neighbors, local friends, and they just love that they know where it came from and it's good quality and they can come out here anytime they want.
For myself, I had an old guy tell me one time that it's not about the livelihood, you know, of the farm isn't always the best living. You know, when you go to the mailbox, the checks aren't always there. It's a tough living, but the life is the best. You can't ask for a better place to raise a family, work ethic wise, everything. It is, you know, wife and kids are great to have on a farm. So.
The Poppy family just opened an on-farm store, and you will find them in Omro.
Well, Jeremy Hansen here from Fox Valley Technical College with another segment of Life on the Farm. And joining me today is Rick Gerke. Rick, thank you so much for talking to me today. We are actually at the Winnebago Waterways Farmer Roundtable event, and you were one of the key speakers here at this event. And first of all, you know, tell me a little bit about your farm.
Yeah, so we farm here in western Winnebago County. We started no-tilling around 2000. We have become full no-till in 2010. And in 2008, we started playing around with cover crops, and it's really evolved since then.
Right, and currently pretty much all your acres have cover crops, correct?
Correct. So since 2016, 100% of our ground is covered every year, one point or the other.
And Rick, can you tell me a little bit about where you're putting your cover crops? Are they just like after corn, or what's your methodology?
Yes, so we farm corn, soybeans, and wheat. So we try to implement those covers whenever possible. So in our wheat covers, obviously we're doing it after wheat harvest in the middle of summer where we have a longer growing period. And corn and beans, we tend to interseed those. And what that means is we are planting those while the cash crop is still growing. So we tend to do that in early September. But then we interseed those right in crop in corn and beans.
Okay. You know, and you had a fascinating story. And how did you ever get started in doing this? Because you're one of the pioneers in the area doing this. Sure. However did you come up with this idea?
So it was an interesting story. It just happened to be springtime of 2008, actually. I stumbled across a newspaper or a magazine advertisement, actually, at the time for a name brand of a cover crop called tillage radish, and it just kind of fascinated me. And well, that summer we went out and tried it and had very good results, and since then it's really evolved from there.
And you really noticed the soil health benefits from just the radishes, correct?
For sure, yeah. That first year, we planted corn into those radishes that following spring, and we noticed a huge difference. It was darker green, the plant was healthier, and when we took it to yield, we did have a yield advantage of that too. So that really is what sparked my interest, for sure, to continue down this path.
Right. And what you talked about today was a little bit some of the hurdles that you face that no one had told you about before, and you had to figure out on your own. Yeah. Tell me one of the things that's kind of a major setback for you.
So one of the speakers today referred to it as challenges and not failures, and I've had plenty of challenges per se along my journey, but one of those things, and probably the one thing that I struggle with the most, is the herbicide selection. And what can we use for herbicide on our cash grains that won't affect our cover crops, at the end of the year. But yeah, that's probably one of our biggest hurdles that we deal with.
And you're figuring it out from year to year.
Year to year, we're learning something every year. There's a lot of information to be found, to be discovered yet in this whole soil health cover crop structure, but we're learning along the way.
And finally, Rick, what advice would you give to someone considering trying cover crops or trying to improve their soil health?
Sure, probably ask questions. Find somebody maybe in the area or maybe a county representative to bounce some ideas off, and don't be afraid to fail. Or challenge, if I may say. Don't be afraid to have those mistakes, but when you do make those mistakes, ask yourself why and what happened in that situation that it didn't work, because it does work everywhere.
Right. Rick, thank you so much for your insight on your experiences today, and you were a great speaker up front of all the people too, so
thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
So for Life on the Farm, I'm Jeremy Hansen.
Today I'm going to make for you guys a new recipe with using a sous vide wand. It's sous vide teriyaki beef noodle bowls. So maybe over the holidays you invested in a sous vide wand, or you received one as a great Christmas gift. We have a lot of beef recipes that you can make in the sous vide water bath. So this one today I'm featuring is really fun and it's economical too. It uses top round steak, but I have my sous vide wand in a really big water bath, and I have it set to 141 degrees. The beauty of the sous vide wand is you can't really overcook your food, because this wand will keep the water at that exact temperature. So 141 degrees is under a nice medium rare temperature of 145. So that's why I got it set at that temperature for this recipe. And you don't have to use this like fancy kind of water bath bucket that I have. You could use any kind of large stock pot that you have in your kitchen. You just need to clamp your wand to it. So this recipe starts with 1 top round steak. So I have a little over a pound of top round, and I took it and I chunked it up into bite-sized pieces. And I just have it in just a plastic baggie. And I'm going to add in some prepared teriyaki sauce. So it's a simple jarred teriyaki sauce, whatever you have at home, whatever you like. Mix that up. And then I closed my plastic bag all the way except for about 1 inch left, because I'm going to put this in the water slowly, and the water is actually going to push out the air. So then we're going to get rid of all that air in this bag. Now, if you have a vacuum sealer, you definitely want to use that for sous vide recipes, because that will take all the air out of your packaging. And that's a nice key to have the sous vide cook effectively. So I'm gonna sous vide my top round chunks for 90 minutes at that 141 degrees. Then I'm gonna pull it out and either finish it right away or put it in the refrigerator for later. And this recipe also has some spicy green beans that go along with the into the teriyaki noodle bowls. So I've got like 3 cups of fresh green beans, and I'm gonna add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and then some sriracha hot chili sauce. Now, the green beans can be done before the steak or after the steak, because these sous vide actually at 183 degrees, so a higher temperature than your steak chunks. But then I took both my beans and my steaks, which I'd already sous vide. I'm gonna finish them here. I just have a really hot skillet, and I put in some pure sesame oil. And then I just took the chunks and kind of just seared them up, browned them, because they're really already fully cooked and tenderized from being in the sous vide bath for 90 minutes. So I'm just gonna finish them quick, and then I put the beans in too and got a nice little char on them. And I'm just serving over a little soba noodles. Then you can always top with some radishes, green onions, and the recipe on the website has marinated zucchini slices, which is kind of fun too, so you can check that out. And a little sesame seed. And there it is, look at that. That's our sous vide teriyaki beef noodle bowl recipe. The recipe is found on beeftips.com. Click right on As Seen on TV, and you'll find this recipe plus a lot of other great sous vide recipes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Alexis Staniak. If we think back to that big storm that came through midweek this week, look how much snowpack it has left on the ground, anywhere from about a trace to all the way up to a foot, and further to our north and west, closer to 2 feet. So quite a bit came through, and it looks like we're going to get some more accumulation within the next week and a half. Here's the next 10 days. It looks like another storm system will come through, and of course, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. As of Thursday afternoon, we have jumped up with how much snowfall we have seen this season. We are finally closer to the average of 40.3 inches for this time of February. So far this season, we have seen about 36.2 inches, and we have finally passed how much snowfall we have seen at this time in 2022, which was at 33.4 inches. Now, average precipitation for this specific date, normally we see a liquid amount of close to 1 inch, and so far this year we have seen just over 1 inch, so we're just a little bit over where we should be, so right around average in general. For snowfall for this time of February, we usually see about 9.5 inches just in the month of February, and within this year alone we have already seen over 11 inches, so that puts us at 2.2 inches over where we should be sitting. And then overall for the entire month of February, we usually see about 12 inches of snowfall, so we're already almost there. A high temperature average for this time of the year is at about 29 degrees, and liquid precipitation for the month of February, we see about 1.25 inches to come through. And it looks like we're going to see quite a bit more liquid precipitation within the next 10 days, anywhere over 1.5 inches to about 2 inches. And look at that, further to our south and east, quite a bit to come through, and that's going to continue to help our drought out. Right now, as we just looked at, we are right around average here in Green Bay, right around average in Wausau, a little bit more above where we should be sitting in Rhinelander and Marquette, and then off to our west, still a little bit in a drought right around Duluth and Minneapolis. Now, heading into the next 8 to 14 days, it looks like we will stay above average for precipitation, as we just saw for most of the United States, but further to our south in Texas and even in Florida, they will be sitting below average. Looking into our new month of March as that approaches us here quickly, it looks like we will stay above normal for precipitation throughout the month of March, and it looks like we will stay above normal for precipitation throughout the entire months of March to May, so something to look forward to there. Heading into the next week, it looks like temperatures will jump up quite a bit. Saturday, 26 degrees, Sunday, 31 degrees, 35 by Monday, 36 on Tuesday, mid-30s again for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then it looks like we do warm up again by next Sunday. So the warmer air is in the forecast, and it looks like it's here to stay. Within the next 8 to 14 days, we should be staying above average for places here in northeast Wisconsin. Off to our west, still much colder. But heading into March, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as warm as February was. It seems that we will be in a below average category from NOAA throughout the month of March, and then further to our south, they will be in a well above average category for temperatures heading into this new month. Heading into the months of March and May, it looks like we will be sitting right where we should be, so that's okay. Further to our south, more above normal temperatures continue to move through the forecast, and then just up to our north, we continue to see those below normal temperatures move in. So overall, throughout the next 3 months, it looks like we will see above average precipitation and right around where we should be sitting temperature-wise.